For what purpose does the gentleman from Pennsylvania seek recognition?
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will report the amendment.
Amendment offered by Mr. Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania. At the end of the bill, before the short title, insert the following section. None of the funds made available in this act may be used to enter into a contract using procedures that do not give to small business concerns owned and controlled by veterans, as that term is defined in Section 3Q3 of the Small Business Act, 15 United States Code 632Q3, that are included in the database under Section 8127F of Title 38 United States Code. Any preference available with respect to such contract, except for a preference given to small business concerns owned and controlled by service-disabled veterans, as that term defined in Section 3Q2 of the Small Business Act, 15 United States Code 632Q2.
The gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise today to offer an amendment that would level the playing field for our nation's veterans when it comes to contracting with the federal government. After putting their lives on the line and at times their families and their careers on hold in the service of our nation, America's veterans deserve every consideration we can give them to adjust to life once they return. Veteran-owned small businesses are part of the American fabric, and as a government and a people, we must do all we can to encourage them. Here are a few facts. According to the most recent census, over 2.4 million of our nation's veterans are now small business owners. Veteran-owned companies now make up 9% of all U.S. firms. The Small Business Administration now estimates that 1 in 7 veterans are self-employed or are a small business owner. And finally, nearly a quarter of veterans say they're interested in starting or in buying a small business. Despite these encouraging numbers, the truth of the matter is veterans are unemployed at a higher level than any of us find acceptable. For instance, the unemployment rate for young veterans returning from Afghanistan and Iraq reached a staggering 22% last year. Mr. Chairman, this number is simply unacceptable. We must work to reduce this number, and it should be the explicit stated policy of all government agencies to assist veteran entrepreneurs. As our nation struggles to achieve an economic recovery, we should be looking to utilize the talent, expertise, and leadership skills of our nation's veterans. These men and women volunteered to selflessly serve our country, and in order to succeed, must display self-discipline and leadership. It is characteristic and character traits like these that should be nurtured and fostered to help our economy grow again and put people back to work. Veterans have served our nation nobly across the world. Now their innovation and expertise can help lead our American recovery. Ultimately, we must all be focused on putting our constituents back to work, and I believe, Mr. Chairman, that this amendment will help to do that. This amendment will give veteran-owned small businesses preferences for contracts in this bill equal to any group eligible for a preferred consideration except for service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. The practice of the federal government providing preferences to encourage government to do business with certain groups is well established. This amendment does not diminish preferences to any other group. It simply extends to veteran-owned small businesses the same level of consideration. The amendment would apply to all federal contracts authorized by the Military Construction and Veteran Affairs Act and would be attached to any portion of state and local projects funded with federal dollars. To preserve the integrity of the program, small businesses are considered those defined by the Small Business Administration, and eligible businesses must be registered veteran-owned businesses with the Department of Veterans Affairs. The VA's Center for Veteran Enterprise maintains a database of certified, registered, veteran-owned businesses. In many cases, this amendment will simply be codifying existing practice and ensures that it will continue to be the policy of our nation. Mr. Chairman, veterans have sacrificed much for our nation. It is only fair that if any group is given preferential contracting status, that veterans receive it as well. I urge my colleagues to support this amendment, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. For what purpose does the gentleman from Texas rise?
Rise in support of the gentleman's amendment and move to strike the last word. Mr. Bishop, I'm happy to yield about